What's up, guys? So this is pretty much like the next day, and I've torn down this old engine completely. So water pump, all the sensors, the starter, the intake, exhaust as well, pretty much almost everything, including I took out the transmission. The rear main seal is pretty good. You know, there's no sign of leaks, just all that dirt and debris. And the transmission itself, there's some stuff that I've discovered, but I'm not going to get on that yet. I'm actually just want to focus on the engine, and then we can probably do the transmission on the next video. Let's start with the crank. So the crank pulley, obviously I will use the K20 crank pulley because this will work well with every other components, because we're using all the components. We're going to use this idle pulley, the tensioner, this is the water pump pulley, and also two others, which would be the alternator and the AC on the bottom. We also use this mount bracket. This is a CRV. It's going to be a different size, so I had to use some fresh bolts. These are, I believe, M12s by 45 with a 1.25 pitch. So for the front of the engine, we're going to use the K20 intake manifold. I would highly recommend this. You do actually have to use the water pump from the K20 block. So I took that out. In fact, if you can see right here, that's the hole. I'm not gonna lie, that was a close one. When I took this out, when I took the water pump out and I inspected it, I was scared. I thought there's gonna be like a hole that goes through this pump as well, but there was no damages, just a couple debris that's inside of it. So I had to clean it up and inspect it one more time, make sure there's nothing, you know, trapped in there, but we are good. Back here, you're actually gonna need install the oil cooler, which is right here, along with the new oil filter. So this actually connects to the line over here to the water pump. Now you do not need to install this or swap it with the K20, but in my opinion, especially if you're going to do some serious mods, or you're probably going to try to tune this thing and get squeeze more horsepower out of it, then this is very important. You already know about the oil pan. Definitely need that because of these two back here, which are connected to the rear mount of the engine itself. So you're definitely gonna need this just to keep this engine together. Now this part right here, if you look at it, this is coming from the radiator. Well, this is gonna be connected to the radiator. I recommend you use the K20. Main reason why, because this end right here that I believe goes to the heater core, this is actually angled different than the K24. So if you look in comparison, this line right here goes straight upwards, right? And then this one goes straight inward. So it's angled differently. So I would recommend you replace that. If the gasket is good inside, you could do that as well, but it's pretty straightforward. It's just 4 bolts. So it's going to be one right here, this odd one right here, down there, and one more down there. So this is pretty much just fairly easy, so you can do a quick swap with that one as well. I decided to use the K20 injectors. Not sure if there's anything specifically between the 20 and the 24, but I decided to go ahead with the K20. If I probably have any complications, I'll probably try the K24, but I don't think this will be that much of a problem. And the main reason why I decided to keep it, I just want every sensors to come to be easily connected in with the K20 harness. So I figured with a K20 harness, you want to make sure you have as much K20 components. So the injectors, all the sensors on the intake, the cam, both cam sensors, which I highly recommend you replace to swap it, the crank sensor, knock sensor, which I think is important for you to replace that. Well, this is not knock sensor, but this sensor back here, this is different comparing to the other sensor, which is back here, and you can tell the difference that this won't work with the K20 harness. So you have to swap that sensor back here This is the solenoid for the VTEC. I went ahead and replaced it as well. There is a gasket inside there, which I highly recommend you replace. You have this sensors here as well. I replaced that just because. Obviously, like I said, crank position sensor, definitely want to replace that. And the RBB solenoid, you didn't have to replace it. They're pretty much the same, I think, but I replaced that as well. So literally all the sensors from the old block, just put it into the K24 just to minimize any confusion, any issues, any complications. You want to go ahead and do that. I even decided to take the K20 starter just because it works and eliminate any complications. So dude, this is like really straightforward. It took me, just to swap everything, to be honest with you, it took me like 20 minutes. And I had to actually go over it again because I wasn't sure. I want to be really careful. Up top, for the Spark Plus coil packs, I went with K20. That's pretty much it. That's like basically the rough of everything that I've done, swapping from the old block to the new. And it's not showroom ready, but it's, you know, but it's good enough. For the Honda Bond all around the block itself, me personally, I'll give it like a day or two after you install everything. Just let the Honda Bond dry, and so to, you know, make sure everything is sealed properly. And then with that, in the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and start working on the transmission. So that will be on the next video. If any questions, feel free to hit me up on the comment section. If you like this video so far, go ahead, hit that like button, support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and cannot wait to see you in the next video. Peace.